Hey everyone, it's you all, Rainbow McLean for live once again, and I wanna welcome everyone back for another movie review, for more movie reviews of Wesley Snipes. But first, I'm gonna show you my dear best friend right here, Rick. Say hi, Rick. Say hi. I love my dog so much, Rick. Say it to the audience, hi. Well, like I said, today I'm going to review another, actually I'll say another my favorite movie from Wesley Snipes, which came out from Direct-To-Video. It was in 2005, and of course today I'm gonna talk about and review is 7 Seconds. Timing is everything. And yes, I just finished this movie once again. And it's another movie I saw back in high school, the year 2006. I saw this film, which I used to have a burned DVD. I burned the DVD. I put this movie in it, and I actually watched it a few times. I don't know how many times I have seen this film, but I know people are shitting about it. But I'll say entertaining, decent direct-to-video Wesley Snipes film. It's not one of his best films, but definitely a really good one. And when I'll do top 10, or actually I'll do a top 11 favorite Wesley Snipes reviews, I'm actually gonna choose, I'm gonna take some of his direct-to-video movies, because they're not bad. I know people are shitting about it, but I really like this film. It's a really good movie, and I like this film. Now, this was directed by Simon Fellows, which of course I never heard of him, and was written by Martin Wheeler, and the budget for this movie cost $13 million. This movie was filmed out of the US. It was actually filmed in Romania, Bucharest, which was also set there. So they actually, the cast, the crew, they went, and all of them, they actually spent money for making this movie in the Bucharest in Romania, maybe because it cost them cheap, because this is actually a low budget. It wasn't like a huge budget, it came out right after direct-to-video, and it was filmed right after Wesley Snipes finished Blade Trinity. This was his second direct-to-video movie that it came out, and I think that time when he started suing New Line Cinema, that time I think they actually put him in the back. They actually put him back on direct-to-video movies, and it's really a shame that no one wants to cast him today. The Hollywood doesn't want to cast him. No one wants to have nothing to do with him. And I actually say that that's really cruel, and I think, in my opinion, Wesley Snipes deserves another chance, and he should get, more auditions, more better roles than he's making now TV shows, because they don't want to cast him, because I think that's really inhuman and cruel. And like I said, he's one of my favorite action stars of all time. I love Blade, Demolition Man, Blade 2. I actually love Blade 2 a lot. Blade 2 is a kick-ass movie. It's a great movie, and so is the first one. They're both great movies, and Demolition Man is a great movie. But I love Wesley Snipes. And yeah, directed was by Simon Fellows. In my opinion, he did a really good job directing this film. I have to fix my camera a little. I apologize, I'm not gonna film it once again, because I'm gonna keep it the way it is. But yeah, like I said, 7 Seconds is actually a heist film. It's a heist action film, in my opinion. It's not such a great heist film like was Fast 5 and Robert De Niro, Al Pacino's Heat. But in my opinion, it was for direct-to-DVD, for direct-to-video movie, it was a decent, in my opinion. I really liked it. And Wesley Snipes, he's still in best shape of his life. I know he wears shades, but that doesn't stop me, for liking this film, because I like this film a lot. And Wesley Snipes still can pull it off. And even for his direct-to-video movie, people are shitting about it. I'll probably see tons of rants. I'm not gonna rant this film because it's really good. It's a fun film. It's entertaining. It's a decent, it's a heist film. Now, Wesley Snipes stars as Jack Tolliver. I think it's Jack Tolliver. He's actually an art thief and a former Delta Force member, and he was dishonorable discharged from the military, and he was sent to prison because he lost, I think he lost 4 of his men, and I think he also was mad because his lieutenant I think his lieutenant sent the man into death, and he broke the guy's arm and leg, and he escaped, and there was like, he actually escaped in order to drink for his friend, and like 8 members of his unit, soldiers, they came out on him. 4 of them landed in the hospital until they caught him, and he went in prison for 4 years with two Romanian mobsters, actually a mobster's brother. And Jack Tolliver, he met this girl Susa, and he and the girl are actually preparing an armed robbery. And yeah, it's a heist armed robbery, which is supposed to be in 7 seconds, which they're stealing. Jack Tolliver and his gang, his crew, are stealing this picture Van Gogh, which is worth of $65 million. And in the package by two couriers, it's actually a painting which is worth $25 million, and they think it's a fake. It's a real. It's $65 million real picture, and of course, because when they think that the heist is go easy, and that's everything by the plan, Jack Tolliver had no idea that he was a setup. His friends and his gang are murdered one by one by a different gang, a different mobsters, a different gangster. And Jack Tolliver and another of his friend, Spanky, they both escape, and because they are trying to catch, Jack, the Russians, the Russian mobsters, they try to catch Jack, but in order to save his life, he goes and kidnaps Sergeant Kelly Anders. She's actually British military officer. I think she was she wasn't on duty, and when she saw and heard the gunshots, she tried to help by saving people, and she gets herself to be a hostage by Jack Tolliver. Jack Tolliver steals her car. And he puts the girl in the car. They both flee by police cars, And actually, I like the music score by Barry Taylor, which is a good music score. I do like the car chase. The car chase was driving by the stuntman and stuntwoman in it. But even time there are a few times of faces from Wesley Snipes and the actress, which was played by Tamzin Outhwaite. She's an English actress, and they try to escape, and there's like a few crashes by the car. I thought that was decent, For a low budget, I thought that was decent, because sometimes low budget movies, they work. And this movie works for me. It was a decent movie, my opinion. It's not better than Fast 5. I reviewed for an hour. I talk about Fast 5. Have not reviewed yet Hit, but still a good movie. But I like 7 Seconds for Heist, and I'm a huge fan of Wesley Snipes. And I think that Wesley Snipes does not deserve to be blacklisted. He doesn't deserve to be treated like trash. That should be Will Smith. Why don't you ban him? Why don't you ban Will Smith forever? He went, made a crime, he assaulted and embarrassed a comedian, and he still walked free, but you go and lock up Wesley Snipes over tax evasions. I mean, for 3 years, why? Anyway, to the movie, Um, so yeah, Jack Talliver lets the girl go. He steals her car. Later they found her car crashed, and the police, the Romanian police, are actually thinking that Kelly Anders was an inside man of the heist, of the Van Gogh picture. And in order that she has to clear her name, she's decided that she's gonna try to track down Jack Talliver herself, in order, because he's the only alibi and the only one that clears her of the charges, because she was under suspicion that she helped Jack Talliver by being his associate, which is not true. Now Jack Talliver, because he knows that actually, he was set up, because when the next gang, his friends, someone replaced, the real magazines, in their guns with fake bullets, with blanks, and his friends were killed. So he was set up by someone, and of course the Russian mobster, Alexei Kuchino, played by Pete Lee Wilson, he went and he kidnapped his girlfriend, Christina, Christina Souza. He went and kidnapped her, and because she's by the Russian gangsters, Jack Talliver, decides to find out the mole who set him up, and he goes to Spunky's apartment, and there's a great shootouts, like Wesley Snipes goes with his Beretta, shoots the guy in the head, and like they're all fired with AK-47 machine guns, and he defends himself, which I thought the action sequences did really worked in my opinion. But he gets captured. He actually gets captured, and I think I kind of forgot that scene and what happened next. He also goes to this guy. He's a Romanian mobster. Mikhail Merziak, he's a Romanian mobster. The guy goes and set him up, and he brings him to Alexei Kuchino. So they torture Jack Talliver, they torture Souza. So in order, because they want the briefcase, which is I think a worthy picture of Van Gogh, which is $65 million. So in order to do that, Jack decides that he's gonna take them to the bus stop, and he goes next day with two guys, and he goes and he starts insulting this guy, with Sister Fucker, Goat Fucker. The guy's Goat Fucker, and he's either a cop and says, you need a school, you actually need a school, and the guy gets pissed. And that time you see, how Wesley Snipes can move, because I checked, it was a stuntman, no, it was Wesley Snipes, handcuffed, and he moves, and he uses like my gay. He goes, kicks in his leg, I think was that table, and he goes with his another my gay kick and kicks the guy, and then he goes, kicks him unconscious, and the other guy goes, he goes and he cuts his rope with a knife and goes, fights the guy, bleeds him to the death, unconscious, which is awesome. That time, in the meantime, Kelly Anders starts searching herself, what was worth in the briefcase, and she finds out that that it was actually not a fake, it's a real picture of Van Gogh. And while she's looking for Jack Talliver, she finds him in front of Kuchino's mansion, and she calls him, and of course, Jack doesn't know that the girl tracked him down, because she goes, and she arrests him, but he tells her that her friend, that her friends, his crew are actually captured, they're hostage, and he has to do something to save them. And I love that, because she goes, and decides, she's not gonna shoot him, she's gonna help him out. So they both go weaponed, armed. And yeah, the girl, she uses, this gun. She goes and uses the gun, and he's with the Beretta, goes, he goes on his rescue mission, and he takes all of these bodyguards, from Alexei Kuchino, And there's also a scene when he holds like this 2 Berettas, just like he did in this movie, Demolition Man. Just he does he goes and fires all the bad guys, all the bodyguards, shoots all the guards, shoots all of them, kills many of them as he can, which is awesome, he goes and kills many of them. He uses AK-47, starts shooting everyone, all the bad guys, he kills almost all the bad guys, entire squad of bad guys he kills in that mansion, in that room. And of course, that time, he saves Spanky, because Spanky, what kind of name is that, but he goes and saves him. And that time Sergeant Anders shows up and she shoots the guy and saves Jack's life. And of course she lets go Spanky, and of course Jack, and Jack and Sergeant Kelly Anders, they go to try to save Sousa, but it turns out that Alexei Kuchino bluffed, because it was actually Christina. She's the one who set up Jack. She's the one. She set up Jack. She set up his crew. She switched the real bullets in their guns with blanks. That's how the opposite crew knew their guns are actually blanks. That's how they killed everyone. She was the one that the bull, one of military friends, and of course brother of Mikhail Mirtsia, was killed. And by the end, when she, of course, Sousa goes and shoots Sergeant Kelly Anders, but that time, of course, Mikhail goes and shoots her in the back, and on the end he goes to take revenge and shoots the guy, shoots Alexei Kuchino. This is for bull, shoots her and kills the guy. And that time, Jack goes and shoots him in the leg, and says, now we're even. And of course, Jack and Kelly, they escape. They're now together, while it turns out, that it was a real picture. And of course, the police can't find, Jack and Kelly, because they both disappear. I love their relationship. And it turns out that the girl, Christina, she set him up. And I don't like that Wesley Snipes goes and steals the guy's car on the gas on the gas station. I don't like that, that he's a thief. But I like the movie for what it is. I like it's a heist movie. I like by the end of the finale, once again cops are chasing both of them, and once again Wesley Snipes escapes with the fast car with Sergeant Kelly Anders. And I actually really like that, I like the action. This movie, I like it's a heist film, that they are still in this picture and they've been set up by someone inside. Man, it turns out it was Jack Tolliver's girlfriend who set them up. She was working for Alexei Kuchino for Russian millionaire mobster, and they both died. For what it is, I liked 7 Seconds. I thought that Simon Fellows did great direction, and I'm surprised that Wesley Snipes flight there to Romania to shot this film, because he had no choice, because after his bad behavior on the set of Blade Trinity, no one wanted to cast him, so that's the best he did. And this is actually his first movie, in 2005 that he did. It was a Marksman he did. I'll review that movie too, but first I want to review the movies that I own from him, and like I said, I'm talking about 7 Seconds, and I would definitely say one of my favorites from direct-to-video movies Wesley Snipes did. But of course I'll show you the back, that's Jack Tolliver, that's Sergeant Kelly Anders, and Jack Tolliver, and this is the fight scene on Alexei Kuchino's mansion. This is Wesley Snipes in it, and of course this is the disc, 7 Seconds. I shall show you much better. 7 Seconds, and this is also Wesley Snipes, as our thief Jack Tolliver, who's on the run, and you have him back. This is also the picture of the fan which someday if I do a review on my of the film, I might show this picture because I don't have the film for Wesley Snipes. But yeah, that's actually, that is Wesley Snipes in it. And yeah, he's running, he's an art thief, and Sergeant Kelly Anders, but Sergeant Kelly Anders, she's actually a military officer. She got mixed in this, in the whole, in this double cross, in this heist, and she's the one who's hunting down Jack Tolliver, but on the end she decides to help him out, which is awesome. Now, in my opinion, Wesley Snipes and the actress, her Bond, they actually did a really good job. In my opinion, Wesley Snipes did a really good job playing Jack Tolliver. Even the fight scenes that you see, there's another guy who's like practicing, and Wesley Snipes goes and kicks the guy. I actually seen better martial arts, I guess, because of low budget, they didn't do much better choreography. But he goes and kicks the guy's ass. Could have been much better, but yeah, it's still a good movie. I really like this film. The actress who played Kelly Anders, Sergeant Kelly Anders, Tamzin Outhwaite, I hope I did correctly her last name. She did a fine job. I like her. Wesley Snipes, awesome as always. This is like Blade, he's Blade. He looks like Blade in this movie. Even the music score looks like Blade, especially the car chases. But yeah, especially the back, this is just so awesome. 10 seconds, just awesome. But I like this film. There's people who hate this film. I like this film. I'll take this movie as top 11 favorite Wesley Snipes films. I have always enjoyed this film. I have always liked the film for what it is. But it's actually by Sony Pictures. Was released by Sony Pictures, and yeah, it was a heist movie, but for what it is, I really like the film. For direct-to-video, it's not bad in my opinion. It's a fun movie. I know people are really how should I say, they're really strict, they're really cruel and harsh to Wesley Snipes. I'm not one of them. I'm not gonna rent this film that I like. I hate The Marksman. People will say why. I hate The Detonator with Wesley Snipes because it was PCLO picture, just like now, but that's because of the shitty weather we have. But 7 Seconds, not a bad movie, especially it was filmed out of the US, in Europe. It's not a bad movie for 2005. But Unstoppable, I'll put Unstoppable above 7 Seconds, but I like 7 Seconds. Not a bad movie. The actress Tamzin Outhwaite did a good job as Sergeant Kelly Anders, and Wesley Snipes as her opponent, Jack Tolliver, did a fantastic job. And later, she decides to help him out, which I appreciate that. She decides to help him out, and then they stay together, which I like that, It was still a good movie in my opinion. Decent movie, fast-paced, not boring. And some people will say, oh, it's a lame, it's a corny. Nowadays they're making movies over 3 hours over long. The Batman, that's a shitty movie over long. Every movie has to be long, over 2 hours or 3 hours. This movie is barely 1 hour 30 minutes long, and it's fast-paced, it's not boring. Now, I used to have the Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray, it was so... Actually, the disc was screwed up. It was scratched. The Blu-ray was scratched. So it was unwatchable. I could not watch the film. It was unwatchable. I had to throw it away. So I re-bought the DVD. So, yeah, I have this movie DVD. It's a Blu-ray out there. But I'm fine with the DVD. I don't have that much movies for Wesley Snipes on Blu-ray or DVD. but those that you see that I do have. But my opinion, Simon Fellows, for direct-to-video, did a good job. I mean, I thought that the cast, it wasn't a big budget film, it's a low budget film, and for what it is, it's a heist film. It's a heist action film, I thought it's a really good one. And I thought that Wesley Snipes has played, he's not played, he's Jack Tulliver, archive and former member of Delta Force. He still did a good job. I mean, it wasn't that much great, but he still did a good job. The actress, she was awesome as Kelly Anders. The actress who double crossed, Georgina Rylance as Sousa, she also did a good job. The actress also did a good job. Piddly Wilson as Alexei Kuchino as a bad guy did a good job. I mean, he wasn't terrible. He really did a good job as the villain. And Andrei Ionesco, he looks like Simon Pegg as Benji, from Mission Impossible films. But he did a good job as Frank Bull Mercia. Yeah, the film was set and filmed in Romania, Bucharest, and Castle Film Studios. It was shot in 32 days, from June 28 till July 30, 2004. Was released direct-to-video on June 28, which came out on DVD. And like I said, it was only a budget $13 million. But that's my review on 7 Seconds for Wesley Snipes. I know it's long. Sorry about the lighting. Sorry that we have a shitty weather, because if it will be more sunny, it will be bright light. It depends on the camera how it's shot. But yeah, I thought it's a decent movie, 7 Seconds. That's just me. Anyway, that's my review on another Wesley Snipes film. So take care, and I'm out. Peace. Bye bye. See you next time.